Have you ever noticed that when you're always behind, everything feels urgent? Every interruption feels like a crisis because there's no room for it. But when you finally build some margin into your life, something unexpected happens. You stop living from deadline to deadline, and you start living with peace. Hi, I'm Steve, and welcome to another down-home clean carnivore video. When I started this YouTube channel, I was usually working right up against the publishing deadline. If something went wrong, a slow upload or a schedule change, even a barking dog, it could throw the whole day into chaos. But little by little, I began building margin. Today, I'm discovering that margin isn't wasted time. It's one of God's greatest gifts. Over the last few videos, I've shared that I was not specifically trying to write a book. I thought that I was trying to lose weight. This chapter is called Margin. When the idea first came to me, I assumed it would be practical. I expected to write about calendars and planning ahead and preparing meals, scheduling videos, and staying organized. Those are all things that I enjoy because I've spent much of my life interested in building systems. I understood the need for systems. I followed the systems that were set before me by franchise restaurants that I worked in. I managed restaurants for 18 years, and one thing that they taught me is that preparation prevents chaos. But when the time came to build systems for my own carpet cleaning business, I sought the training in systems. I knew their value, but my brain-fogged mind couldn't find the path to implementation. I thought this chapter would simply be another way of saying, get organized. It wasn't. The more I wrote, the more I realized margin isn't about organization at all. Organization is only one expression of it. Margin is something much deeper. It's what happens when today's preparation removes tomorrow's pressure. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you don't have to solve the next problem over and over again because you've already done the work. That's exactly what happened when I began buying beef in bulk. At first, it looked like I was simply trying to save money and make sure I had enough on hand, not to be tempted to go off my plan. Convenience. Then I realized I was also saving decisions. My meals were already prepared. My freezer was already stocked. Tomorrow's question had already been answered. What looked like a freezer full of meat was actually a freezer full of margin. And then I saw the same pattern showing up in completely different parts of my life. When I scheduled several YouTube videos ahead of time, I wasn't just getting ahead. I was creating room to enjoy a road trip with Beth, without worrying that the channel would go silent or dark. In preparation for long-term stay in the Philippines, I scheduled videos not only to cover the time that we would be in the air, but also for 2 weeks after we arrived, so that I wouldn't have to scramble through jet lag and the adjustment to a new daily routine. Even something as simple as washing a few dishes after dinner became an act of stewardship because I was giving tomorrow a fresh start instead of another chore. When I recognized margin, I started living it with gratitude for what it meant to me. Friction was eliminated and replaced with calm. That's when the chapter turned around and began teaching me. I began seeing the world differently. Instead of asking, how much can I get done today? I found myself asking, what can I do today that will make tomorrow lighter? That's a completely different question, and it produces a completely different life. It reminded me of the feeling I had in elementary school when I not only finished my homework, but did extra credit and got ahead. The carnivore lifestyle had prepared me for this long before I understood what was happening. By simplifying my meals and clearing my thinking, it removed thousands of food decisions that I had created space for more important options. The same principle kept repeating itself. Simplicity created margin. Margin created peace, and peace made it easier to notice what needed to be done. And that's why I say this chapter surprised me. It changed the way I think because I stopped seeing preparation as work and began seeing it as a gift to my future self. It changed the way I see the world because I began recognizing that many of life's frustrations aren't caused by difficult circumstances, but by preventable disorder. It even changed the questions I ask. Instead of looking for shortcuts, I started looking for systems. Instead of chasing urgency, I started protecting margin. When that happened, I knew that I had stumbled onto something much larger than a chapter in a book. I believe that that's one of the reasons this manuscript has become so personal. I didn't sit down to write about principles. I simply described what I was living. And only afterward did I realize that there was a pattern running through it all. The Lord wasn't merely helping me lose weight. He was teaching me a different way to live. And that's what I hope you'll discover as the series continues. The stories may begin with beef, a spontaneous road trip, a surprise, or an unplugged laptop, but they rarely end where they begin. If you're willing to pay attention, ordinary moments have an extraordinary way of revealing lasting truths. Walk with me.